of upstanding individuals. Look at this guy. Man, come on, bro. Y'all looking dapper and stuff. I'm up in here in a polo and a hoodie. Man, come on. You cannot be coming in here showing me up. Grace and peace. How are you this morning, sir?
I'm well. How are you? Can you
Quite well,
you picking up
thank
my mic?
We got you, man. Absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful.
All right. First
I'm
of all, tell
sorry.
us who you are.
I'm Nathan Saunders. I'm a practicing attorney down in South Florida. Go by the handle of The Legal Good here on the YouTubes.
I love it. So it basically means you know a lot more than what you know more than what I know. So basically,
Well, let me say this. You know a lot more about this trial than I know. But
not saying much. Not saying much.
I've been selectively avoiding this trial.
Why?
It's too much, man.
It's just it's too much, but it's never boring though. There's never a nothing except maybe today. But you know, the day is still young. Okay, anything could pop off. It's never boring, man.
Man, I can't keep up. I mean, I still got a practicing. I'm still practicing, so
right.
I still have my day job. I can't spend 100. How many days are we on? 184 days. 152 days. I can't spend that much time covering this trial.
That's crazy, bro. That's why I've resorted to doing like recaps at night. I'm like, this is killing me, man. This is wearing me out. All right. So, what form of law do you practice, brother legal?
So I mainly do small outside general counsel services for small and medium-sized businesses.
Okay.
I litigate for them. I do their startup services, their contract work, anything general counsel would do in a large company. I do it outside the company for smaller, medium-sized businesses.
I love it. I love it. All right. What do you want to tell us about so far about this trial?
Man, I just you had some questions in the chat. Good morning, everybody. You had some questions in the chat that didn't seem to have some answers, like regarding first there was the question about the witnesses.
Right.
Can the witnesses be in the room? So we have a rule of.
Can I give the question again? So, just for the people. So somebody said that the Fulton County DA's office had reached out to the families of victims and asked them to come to court today, and we basically many people surmised that was the witness impact statements before a plea agreement. And I said, well, does that mean that the families are going to be able to be in the courtroom, or they're going to be sitting out in the hallway with the great unwashed? So that was really where we started.
So victim impact statements shouldn't come before a plea agreement, because the jury is not going to be present for agreements between the parties regarding, whether they enter a plea deal. So if the jury hears the victim impact statement now, then that's a problem, right? Because that might influence their decision as to whether or not to convict. And we don't want that in our system of justice. We don't want the victims to come in and say, my family member was this hurt, and that impacted me in this great way. It impacted my family, both emotionally and economically. We don't want all that, because that's going to do a disservice to justice.
So is it then, why would they be asking and so now a developmental question, why would they be asking families to come to the courthouse then?
So the only reason I can come up with for families of the victims to come to the courthouse to be,
right,
is so that they can sit in the gallery and essentially put on a show for the jury. If you've got a bunch of family members in there saying, look, or not saying, but acting emotionally, crying, things of that nature, and the prosecutor can somehow tie the victim to whatever examination is going on, then that's going to have a big impact on the jury.
Man, that's grimy.
It is.
And the bad thing is that courtroom is not that big. and the family bench is as long as the family benches are the same. There's two of them and they're the same length. You can maybe at best fit 7, maybe 8 people on there. That's just going to be weird. If you bring, if you and I, if our families have problems, or my family thinks you might have done something, to me, and you're sitting behind me in court, boo-hooing and weeping, and I can't. Oh, okay. I hope that's not what they're trying to do.
I hope that's not what they're trying to do.
That would be. I hope it's something different. Okay. What was another one that you wanted to straighten out? And I do appreciate, by the way, everybody, this is the legal good. If you could, the moderators could drop Nathan's link in the chat. Now, granted, he told me that the YSL trial is just too much for him, but we might go over there and bum rush him and type YSL in one of his videos, spam it with YSL, or you know what? Put a green snake on it. Don't y'all do that to that man. What was another one though?
So you asked about sidebars.
Dude, if they've had 233 sidebars, my guy, I might need to see that. I'm sorry.
Well, in 152 days, 233 sidebars really isn't that many.
Hold on.
It's not even 2 a day, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So if you take a typical trial is going to, even in a civil trial, I'm probably up at the bench probably no less than 5 times in one day.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because you don't want the jury to hear what you're arguing about.
No, not
and there's
salad
going
bars.
to be some arguments.
Not salad bars. We're not eating healthy over here. We're talking about sidebars in the courtroom, my guy. I'm glad LK Chapo wants to eat healthy, but no, we're talking about sidebars. Really? So that is common.
Oh, very common.
Boy, stop this. Okay, how about this one then? Go. 51 mistrial motions though. Look at you. You trying. I see you, brother. You trying. I like you.
So here's the thing. How many defendants you got in YSL?
6.
You got 6 defendants. So that's an average of what? 9 per defendant over the course of 152 days.
I guess.
So in one trial that lasts a week, you're probably going to be looking at most one, with one defendant, you're looking at most one motion for mistrial. This is going on for 6 months. Is that the math on that? 152 days? How many months?
Well, it's 6, but it's been a year, but there's been all these huge breaks between it. The year would be the 27th of November.
But just the 152 days, 5 days a week, that's got to be 6 months worth of just trial, right? So every time there's a mistake, in order for you to preserve that issue for appeal, the best way to do that is move for a mistrial.
Got you.
So now if any one of the defendants, let's say that these motions for mistrial are evenly distributed amongst all the defendants, you've got about 9 per defendant. Over the course of 152 days, each defendant is saying the state made 9 mistakes that are worthy of a mistrial. That's really not that many.
Okay. I mean, now that you're mathing it, I guess it does. I guess now that you're mathing it, wow. Okay. You got me. I'm just looking at the plenitude of like mistrial, but now that, as you're saying it, okay, you've mathed me. You mathed me. You got me. But you know what? Speaking of salad bars, my favorite vegetarian said when she was a victim in a case, the victim's advocate contacted me to make sure I was okay with the state offering the offender a plea agreement. To me, I've understood that. Now that I've heard of before. Mm-hmm. It just seemed weird because notice she says the victim advocate, not the district attorney. That was strange, but go ahead.
And the victim advocate contacted her, not said you got to come down to the courthouse.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is just strange. That's why I'm not saying that because a family member of one of the victims was on Sylvia's channel yesterday and apparently said that they were asked to come to the courthouse or something of that nature. I might be getting the stories mixed up. That's what I'm like. I really want to hear like a little bit more. Like what was going on here? Was it Fonnie that called y'all, or was it the faux Fonnie that's just wanted somebody down there to stir up some stuff? I don't know, because this makes much more. I've heard of this situation that my favorite vegetarian is saying, and thank you for the $5 super. I've heard this before. Go ahead.
And the reason for that, the judge doesn't have to accept a plea agreement.
Correct.
So if the state comes and says, we want you to accept this plea agreement, and the judge, in deciding whether to accept it or not, says, well, have you contacted the families of the victims and are they okay with it? And the state says no. Well, that would not help them in getting the judge to agree with them. So you always want to be prepared with that.
Okay, so what if they say, not only have we spoke to a victim, we got him right there, bench number 3. Come on down.
So I've never seen the judge actually want to speak with the family members of the victims. As attorneys, we are officers of the court. If you notice, when the court talks to us, they don't put us under oath.
Correct.
But they still trust what we say.
Correct.
Because we're officers of the court, and because right up here on the top of this shelf, I've got the oath of attorney, and it says I've already taken that oath with respect to anything I say to the court. So if the state says we have run this by all of the family members of the victim that we could locate, and here's a list of them, and they all approve of this, the court's just going to take them at their word. Otherwise, our system of justice would essentially fall apart.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Okay, what you doing tonight?
What am I doing tonight?
I got some questions, man. I got some things off my chest.
I got some little league games to go to.
You better be on the side of that little league, answering this phone, answering these questions. Okay. All right. Let me ask this question real quick. This case, in my opinion, I'm a former classroom teacher, and I'm big on telling stories and understanding your audience and all of that kind of jazz like that. I feel like this case, by and far, the biggest issue is that the DA's office is horrible at telling stories. They have no idea how to tell a story and convey an idea to bring you into their journey. The story is all over the place. It's all over the place. And I always thought that attorneys at least met with their witnesses and said, hey, John, I know, you're going to be speaking tomorrow. Don't forget to be here at 9 o'clock. And remember what you said back 2 years ago when we spoke to investigator this and that and inspector that person. Remember those things. Not necessarily like quizzing them, but just reminding them and refreshing them. Say, hey, okay, here's your testimony if you want to read over it, whatever like that. How much preparation are lawyers supposed to give? Because on this trial, Nathan, we've seen the most unprepared people. It is embarrassing. And you're like, you didn't even ask them to even review what they were talking about? What is that process like?
So especially when it comes to key witnesses, we don't do this with every witness, right?
Gotcha.
But with key witnesses, we prepare them for their testimony. It's not just we go over what they said before. We prepare them. We say, I'm going to ask you this.
Okay, so that's normal. Okay.
I'm going to ask you this. And we do it until they're ready. Sometimes if it's a very important witness, we'll even have somebody else in our office pretend to be the other side asking them questions. And they'll drill them on what the other side is going to ask them. And we'll keep doing that until all their answers that we think the other side is going to ask them flow. Right?
Okay, I got to interject. What if your key witness is a former criminal? Is it different if your key witness is a former criminal or if your key witness is just an average Joe or Jane? Does that make sense?
So I don't do criminal law.
Okay.
So my opportunities to deal with former criminals, at least ones limited. Who have been convicted
is
in
limited.
The past. It's very
I got you.
But we do have witnesses who we expect are going to be less than truthful on the stand.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
And with respect to those witnesses, when we're preparing them, when we get done preparing them, we go through our deposition transcripts, everything that they've ever said, and we highlight all the page numbers and we refresh their recollection. Are you sure? And we're prepared to do all of that, and it becomes part of the story. Does that make sense?
This makes perfect sense. My problem is that's what I thought made sense. I'm like, and I'm a pre-K law student. I know nothing. That's what I would have thought a lawyer would do, is like, hey, let me just refresh your memory. It was 4 years ago. It was a very emotional time. Let me just refresh your memory, good, bad, or indifferent, a criminal or just an average Joe. Let me just refresh what you were talking about. This is what you said to Inspector this person. That made sense to me. Mm-hmm. Some of these people seem like they're coming in there cold. They ain't thought about this any bit more than fly to the moon. And in my opinion, that's part of the problem why their case is so bad, is they're not preparing their witnesses at least to remember what they talked about.
So I think it's Lil Woody.
No, it's been Little Woody, Sledge, Atkins. I mean,
Lil Woody, the only one I've seen, because his testimony is the best.
Oh, you just gave up after Woody. See that Woody was the on ramp for most of us, man. Woody got us on here. He was the gateway drug.
He was telling stories that were totally different than what he told anybody ever.
He had me thinking I did it. And I was like, maybe I did it. I live here in Atlanta. Did I do it?
Right. Yeah. I mean, you have to immediately or sometime within a reasonable amount of time depose that witness. Get their truth as of now. Because their truth as of when they got arrested last time, it's changed, right? So you gotta do some more homework than that.
And that's what I was thinking. I was like, why did they not at least prep this person to tell a better story and craft this narrative that they want to believe? Go ahead.
So the problem here is none of these are really that I've seen are witnesses for the state. They're witnesses, but they're not.
They're witnesses for hire.
They ain't with the state, you know what I mean? Right. In spirit.
I like it. I love that. Good point. No, so you're right.
If it's my homeboys at the defense table, I'm gonna say everything I possibly can to craft my testimony, craft the truth in such a way that it's going to do the least amount of damage to them. If the attorneys haven't prepared for that eventuality, that's their fault.
No, I agree. And I'm just wondering, like, why do they keep bringing people up that they end up having to impeach? They got to like do all this extra rigmarole. But did you not just sit down and talk with them before they got up there? But I feel like the detectives, they did. You feel like they did talk to the detectives and they're quote unquote experts, but their witnesses, again, these are key witnesses. Every Tuesday, they got a new key witness. Woody was a key witness. Sledge was a key witness. Zachary was a key witness. All these people are key witnesses. Wooney Lee was a key witness. And they always keep, I don't know why, but their key witnesses keep putting their foot in their mouth and ruining their case. Like, why don't you just talk to them first?
Right.
Rather than do, but I do think that what happened with Wooney Lee was intentional, but that's my tinfoil hat, and me and Debo share the tinfoil hat of conspiracy there. Because I think he did it on purpose. But okay, anything else that you heard that you want to, like, Jason? Because Jason, you off like a cough. Anything else?
No, I don't think. I think we covered all the questions that I heard that needed an answer. So if nobody has anything else, I'm gonna get back to lawyering it up over here.
Well, real quick, and I'm not saying like have like full on prepared and such like that, but I think it's fair to say that they had not talked to Woody before he got on the stand, and that's where I think the wheels on the bus started coming off. Let me ask you this real quick though. Yeah. If I'm lawyer DWC and I'm dealing with, and I have a plan, I got my little questions, and I see that you are not really complying with my questions. You're being really antagonistic when I start talking about this particular topic. How hard is it for me to pivot and go in another direction, maybe revisit that, or just ixnay it altogether because Nathan is not going to work with me?
So the first thing to do is ask the court to treat the witness as hostile.
Wow. Okay.
Once you can treat the witness as a hostile witness, then you can start asking leading questions.
Right. And we saw that with Simone Hilton and Woody, when she called him a hostile witness, and the wheels, everybody noticed at that point, everything changed. So I got you there. Okay.
And then the problem is, if this is a key witness, there's certain testimony that you are expecting this person to give, and they're not giving it. And if you just let that slide, then you just lost your key witness, right? There's no opportunity for you to go get it back later. So pivoting from that at that point is a very difficult skill to learn as an attorney, and one that I've only had it happen to me once, where the witness just refused to give me what I know that they should have given.
Gotcha.
And I was totally unprepared to deal with that. So it's not necessarily the fault of the prosecutor for being unable to deal with that, because it's not something that we are accustomed to encountering.
I can dig it. Okay. I can dig it. I love it. Well, thank you, my friend.
No problem. Was good. Thank you for having me on. This is the livest chat. So
the best live chat on the internet. Absolutely.
Best live chat on the internet.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Nathan from The Legal Good. Thank you so much to the moderators for dropping his link in the chat. Go by and check out what he's doing. He's doing fantastic work. And let him know, man. Drop a green snake in there and tell him, come on back over here to DWC so we can talk about some of these shenanigans.
So you're talking about that green snake? I graduated from FAM, so you know.
Oh, not them rattlers. Not them rattlers. Oh no. Right. I saw some of your famites, some of them rattlers this weekend at a homecoming. Okay. So
we all over the place, man.
I love y'all. I love y'all. Well, brother, thank you so much, man. You are always welcome. Hit that jump on whenever. You got my number. You can always hit me up.
Yep.
All right. Take care. Have a great day, friend.
Thank you for having me.
You got
Have a good one.
Grace and peace.
Hit that like for deal with Christian. Yo, for deal with Christian. Smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for deal with Christian. For deal with Christian. Smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for deal with Christian.